Okay guys, it's Sunday the 19th of August. We are going to have a look at our three markets in terms of day trading for the week ahead. So as always, it will be the FTSE 100, the Forex pair EURUSD and the US Index, the NASDAQ. So just before we get started, these videos, they are mainly aimed at my zone trader students. It's basically me sort of getting ready for the trading week ahead and giving them what's the sort of main areas that I am looking at. So if you don't really understand what is going on, you don't really have a clear idea of support and resistance, you can look at the free introduction to trading course on the website, and you can also have a look at the free Decisive package. So the introduction to trading course is if you really don't have very much knowledge about trading at all, and then the Decisive package is designed to start building that technical knowledge, getting you ready for the charts. Because videos like this, it can be quite hard to follow if you don't really understand support and resistance and day trading in general. Okay, so we're going to start with the FTSE 100. It is still marked up from our last video. As we can see, what we were looking at was this sloping support level, looking for the market breaking down below. When it did, we were looking for potentially the market pushing back and retesting at these levels. So basically up above, we had lots of nice resistance levels. We were looking for the market to confirm this breakdown, a retest, and then if we've seen it, bearish price action. It's exactly what we've got. We've got the FTSE absolutely collapsing all the way down to our key zone at 7512 to 7480, where we bounced once. We then came down on Friday, we hit and we bounced twice, and we bounced back up into our 7583 to 7562 zone, which is resistance. So resistance and resistance. The very big sell-off also came from our 7644 to 7657 zone, which was a resistance level. Okay, so moving into the trading week ahead, what are we looking at? Well, the main thing for me is this zone down here. This is very key support on this market. The way we've been moving, if we just sort of zoom out, so it's a little bit choppy. We've had a very strong move up, we've then had a very strong rejection, we've pressed up again, and we've had another strong rejection. So potentially this is now turning into a very large double top. So there's the first leg of the double top, there's a second leg of the double top, and now we're testing at the center point of the double top. It's also lining up with that bearish pattern that we were looking at, where we broke down from and rejected. For the FTSE, moving forward, this level is very important. If we start breaking down below here, it's very likely we're going to have further strong bearish price action. And I'd say, as we've been going over, we've got nice support at the previous swing point right here, sort of 7410. But I'd expect to see us coming down to at least this gap here at 7380. But more realistically, would be all the way back down to test at sort of 7330 down toward 7300, and potentially a lot lower. That's if we start breaking down below here. At present, it remains key support. Also coming into next week, make it a little bit bigger, we've got this zone down here, 7547, 7535. Now we've already broken below this and broken up above it, although we did close at this level. It's a good level of support and resistance. I'm not going to say it's overly key. So let's just get rid of this arrow. We'll put support and we'll put resistance. Up above there, we've got the 7583, 7562. So this level at present is pretty important. The way we're testing it as resistance, it remains good resistance coming into next week. If we start breaking up above that level, it's very likely we're going to have another sort of bounce higher to retest at the key zones up above, really 76. I'd actually say this should be a little bit lower. Around about 7610, potentially down to the round number of 7600, but really we start testing into fairly key resistance as we get into 7610 to 7630. If we start pressing back up into there, then yeah, once again, it becomes worthwhile starting to look for the resistance. Up above 7645, 7656. Again, key resistance levels up here, 1 and 2 to watch. So this level really is a sort of guideline coming into next week. If we do break up above, I'll be starting to look for potential bullish price action. Whilst down below, it's very key resistance. This is a little bit more minor, but still worthwhile watching as support and resistance. This is very, very key on the FTSE. Up above here, it's still continuing to try and hold bullish. If we get down below here, yeah, looking for much stronger corrections. Okay, so that's everything for the FTSE this week. Let's move on to the Euro USD. Okay guys, so now we're on Euro USD, and what we can see is this market has broken all the way down from our lowest support level that we went over. What we're looking at was this level right here as fairly key support and resistance, and we had it as a resistance level. If we started to break up above, then the market was starting to look more bullish, and we were looking for potential bullish bounces. So the markets came down, it's tested at our 157.60 to 115.76 to 115.60 level. We spiked up into this key resistance, instant rejection, huge move down. These were our three levels of important support. If we started breaking down below those levels, yeah, the market was very likely making a stronger bearish movement, and we're starting to test at the previous swing point right here. Now, if we sort of come to the left here, what we can see is we've got this previous swing, and then we're down into testing 1, 2, and 3. But for me, really, this level and this level are pretty important until we get down to 111.67 and 110.97. This is the next sort of very key level. Zoom back in. So the market, first of all, is bearish. Yeah, it's very easy to see. A huge move down. We've also this sloping resistance level. We broke up above, tried to test 1, 2, and then failed. If we can grab a hold of it and extend it down, this can be used as a, I would say a kind of pivot point. Below this level, we're looking for resistance at it. If we get back up above, potentially we're pressing back up to retest at these levels. So if we do see the market pressing higher now, yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 very key resistance levels. 115.05 to 115.18, really 115.20, 115.27 to 115.40, 115.60 to 115.75, and then obviously this key level 116 to 116.50. All of these levels will be worthwhile watching as resistance if we see the market pressing back up. Now, if we come to the left, we're looking at our more or our most recent price action that the market has given us as clues. Really, we're around about 114.85 down to 114.55 right here. So we're looking at the swing point. Also, this spike up is giving us the clue from the 13th of July. Down below there, we're at 114.30. Let's have a look. 114. We're at 114.45. Down into 114.20. I'd say this is a slightly stronger level than this one. It's a lot more of the price action. As we broke up and failed, this is what we've been testing. Really, this would be like a false break up, push back down, we hold below this level again, then we break up, then we test at this level for the buyers stepping in. So for me, this is a lot more key right here. We've then got 113.95, so really 113, let's have a look. 114, perfect, okay. 114 takes into account two little doji candles, the close and the open of this candle. Then we're looking at around about 113.80 right here. And down below there, we start getting into the low. So if we come back to the right, let's have a look. Got one right here. So coming into next week, this will be testing at that sloping support and resistance. So resistance coming into the week. If we start breaking up above this level, potentially for those bullish bounces. Now we've got that level just sitting up above. And I'm going to say it's a little bit more minor. So this one, a little bit more key at present. And as we start getting back up into these levels for key resistance. Down below there, we've got 113.47 down to around about 113.30 right here. If we come to the left, just testing out that previous swing pretty nicely. And down below there, there's potentially another drop coming to 112.95 down toward 112.63, which again, this would become key support right here. So a quick recap of this one. If we see the market pressing, well, first of all, above this level, it's worthwhile watching as potential support. Below, it remains good resistance, especially lining up with the sloping resistance level. Got a support level down below. Also worthwhile watching as resistance if we break down below this level. Then we've got this 113.75 to 113.30. If we're down below there, again, very likely we're coming down to test at this key level right here. If we are holding up above the sloping resistance, looking for those pullbacks and the sells up at our very key levels right here. Okay, so that's everything for Euro USD. Let's move on to our final market, the NASDAQ. Okay, so for NASDAQ, we are a little bit zoomed out just before we get started. What I'm going to do is just sort of mark up a couple of potential, fairly significant trend lines that we're following. We've got support, 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 and then we actually spiked down again and tested at support. You can bring it up a little bit, like this. And then along the top, we are making these higher, or we're attempting to make these higher highs. Made the high, the higher high, the higher high, the higher high. Failed so far to make another one, and then we've came down, we've tested again at this resistance level. So we're potentially starting to put in a fairly strong squeeze up here. Now, if we are, first of all, it's giving us a solid level of support and also a solid level of resistance to watch. What I would say is coming into next week, this 7310 to 7270 and also 7351 to 7335. Both of these levels are very significant. Support and also support. If we're breaking down below either of these, I'd say this one's a little bit higher risk at the start of the week, but it's still worthwhile starting to watch as resistance. If we're getting down below this one, certainly resistance. And if we're getting down below here, for me, the likely next move is down to 7145 to 7095 and 7060 to 7020. These are very key support levels. If we're getting down below there, that's what I would expect to see. We've got 7205, 7178 in between, but I'd say it's a little bit more minor. Up above, first of all, we had a nice strong spike up here, a potential type of continuation spike for another press higher. If we have, we're looking back up toward our all-time highs, really. Let's have a look. Certainly 7455 toward 7475. Again, if these are lining up with the sloping resistance level, it's another added confluence, and a fairly strong confluence at that. 7485 to the all-time highs, 7520. And if we're getting up above this sloping resistance level, good for breakouts. But what I would say is the way it's lining up at present, it's looking like potentially a good area for false breaks. The market trying to break higher, everybody piling in because we're starting to break previous highs, but it's got a sloping resistance level there, and we see the failures coming in. So we definitely want to be a little bit careful up at those levels. What I would also say is we have made a high, a lower high, and a lower high. So at present, the market is starting to give us slightly bearish signals. You know, we've rocketed back up, but then we've failed, and so far we have failed. So just giving us another little sort of added confluence for looking at these resistance levels. I'd also say 7440, 7420. Yeah, good level. So quick recap for this one. The main levels are down here, 1 and 2. Very key support, breaks down below, a little bit higher risk for resistance, breaks down below. Yep, I'd expect stronger moves down. Very key support, very key support. Up above, lining up with the potential squeeze, certainly for resistance and resistance. In between, yeah, support and resistance levels. I'm not going to say they're key levels. These are the key levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6. But still worthwhile watching 1 and 2 and 3. Okay guys, that's everything for this week. As always, I hope that was helpful. Hope you all have a good trading week next week. I'm James Orr, and thank you.